Have you ever paused for a moment and really considered how much time we spend on things that don't truly matter? It's surprisingly easy to get lost in activities that, while entertaining, don't contribute to our growth or well-being. Whether it's endless videos, scrolling through social media, or mindlessly consuming content, we all find ourselves losing precious minutes to these fleeting distractions. But imagine for a second, what if we could reclaim just 1 minute of our day? What if we took that single minute and focused it on something meaningful? A quick read, a thought-provoking video, or even a moment of deep reflection. Just 60 seconds dedicated to something that nourishes our minds could have a profound impact on our lives. Let me share with you how this conversation started and where it led us. One day, I asked a friend a question that had been on my mind for a while. Why do people seem to avoid things that make them think deeply? Why do they shy away from thought-provoking videos, books, or podcasts, or simply lack the patience for them? He thought about it for a moment before replying. That's a really interesting observation. I think it has a lot to do with how society has evolved. People are often drawn to content that's easy to digest, something that doesn't require too much mental effort. Society has conditioned us to value entertainment over introspection. We're bombarded with trivial information daily, so much so that we've become accustomed to avoiding anything that demands deeper thought. The culture of instant gratification only amplifies this tendency. I pondered his words and then asked, do you think governments or those in power genuinely want people to develop critical thinking skills? Or do they prefer a populace that is less questioning and more compliant? His answer was thought-provoking. That's a complex issue. On one hand, promoting critical thinking is beneficial for society as a whole. But if you dig deeper, there are reasons why certain systems might prefer people to remain less questioning. Critical thinkers challenge authority and the status quo, and that can be threatening to those in power. It's a delicate balance. They want an informed populace, but not one that questions their authority too much. This led me to think, what if people enjoyed thinking and reflecting as much as they enjoy watching a fun but ultimately meaningless video? If families, for instance, prioritize deep thinking, wouldn't they naturally develop a better understanding of responsibility? A person who learns to think critically becomes more aware, and as a result, they won't have unreasonable expectations or engage in worthless behavior. Life as a whole would have more value, meaning, and people would interact more thoughtfully and kindly. He nodded in agreement. That's a powerful idea. If a society were built on families that value critical thinking, it would be a society of individuals who can easily identify deceit, laziness, or betrayal without being misled. Such a society could fundamentally change how we operate, making it more just and equitable. Imagine a world where thoughtful discussions are the norm, where each member of the family is encouraged to think critically and discuss their ideas openly. This could lead to a community that not only values integrity and fairness, but practices them. Such a society would be more resistant to manipulation and corruption. I added, and in such a society, those who act dishonestly or unethically would stand out like a sore thumb. They wouldn't be able to continue unnoticed. I've also been thinking about how genuine laughter and empathy would become the norm. Imagine the resources that are currently spent on protecting people from each other, on the extravagance of those who exploit others, or on the power struggles that arise from mistaken beliefs. What if all of that were distributed fairly and consciously among the people? Can you imagine what kind of world we could create? He reflected deeply on this. It's an incredible vision, one where resources are used wisely, people are more connected, and true happiness and understanding prevail. In this world, wealth and power wouldn't be concentrated in the hands of a few, but rather shared in a way that benefits everyone. Fair distribution of resources is key. When people feel valued by the system they're part of, they're more likely to contribute positively. This kind of world would not only be more peaceful, but also more productive, as people would be motivated by a sense of justice and mutual respect. We then took the discussion further. Imagine a YouTuber creates a video where two people prank each other by unknowingly spilling water on one another. It's funny at first glance, right? But what does it leave behind other than a momentary laugh? What if this behavior, encouraged by viewers like us, leads the prankster to go for bigger and riskier pranks? We get used to it. We crave new and more varied content. The prankster becomes richer and more famous without contributing anything lasting, anything that makes life better for others. Meanwhile, we remain the unthinking spectators, entertained by the discomfort of others. He nodded, his expression serious. That's true. As viewers, we might laugh at someone's discomfort, and in doing so, we encourage more of the same behavior. If children watch, they might be inspired to imitate what they see, leading to time wasted without any positive effect, and becoming oblivious to the realities around them. Those who are the targets of these jokes might feel compelled to endure it for money, losing their self-respect in the process. This cycle of creating more extreme content to maintain or grow a following can have dangerous consequences, not only for the creators, but for society as a whole. We start to normalize harmful or degrading behavior, and this has long-term effects on how we treat each other in everyday life. I concluded, exactly. And this brings us back to the importance of using time wisely. Imagine if half of the world's population spent just 30 minutes a day reading, reflecting, or engaging with thoughtful content. What kind of results do you think that would bring? Wouldn't this be a more effective and sustainable path to peace and tranquility than any other method? He agreed wholeheartedly. Absolutely. If people engaged in thoughtful activities for even a small portion of their day, the cumulative impact could be enormous. It could lead to a world that's more aware, more just, and more at peace. The act of spending even a little time each day in meaningful reflection or learning could transform individuals and, by extension, society as a whole. It's a simple idea, but one with potentially profound implications. This approach could lead to a society that is more engaged, more compassionate, and ultimately more human. Then I shared an idea that had been forming in my mind, and that's why I'm thinking about starting a program, something global, that encourages people to spend just 1 minute a day reading or engaging with useful content. Just 1 minute, but I'm confident it could have the effect of years of education. He was excited. That's an incredible idea. It's simple yet powerful, and it could be a way to start reclaiming those lost moments and turning them into something meaningful. After all these reflections, you might be wondering, what can I do to make a difference? How can you start reclaiming those lost moments and turning them into something meaningful? This is where our initiative, 1 Minute to Peace, comes into play. The concept is simple but powerful. Dedicate just 1 minute of your day to something that enriches your mind and soul. It could be reading a few lines from a book, watching a short educational video, reflecting on a quote that inspires you, or simply taking a moment to breathe and be present. 1 minute, every day. That's all it takes to start making a positive change in your life. But why just 1 minute, you might ask? The answer lies in the principle of consistency and simplicity. It's easy to commit to 1 minute, my friend pointed out during our discussion. It's not overwhelming, and it doesn't require a drastic change in your routine. And yet, this small commitment can have a ripple effect that extends far beyond that single minute. Imagine the cumulative impact of millions of people dedicating just 1 minute a day to thoughtful, meaningful activities. This is not just about individual growth, it's about creating a global movement towards mindfulness, learning, and personal development. It's like planting a seed every day, he added, and watching it grow into something beautiful over time. Here's how you can get started with 1 minute to peace. Set a time. Choose a specific time each day to dedicate your minute. It could be in the morning when you wake up, during a lunch break, or before you go to bed. The key is to make it a regular part of your routine. Choose your content. Decide what you want to focus on during your minute. It could be anything that inspires, educates, or brings you peace. Some days you might read a passage from a book. Other days you might watch a short video that expands your understanding of the world. Reflect. After your minute, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned or felt. How did it make you feel? Did it change your perspective in any way? This reflection is an important part of the process, helping you internalize what you've experienced. Share your journey. Join the global community of 1 Minute to Peace by sharing your experiences on social media using the hashtag 1 Minute to Peace. By sharing what you've learned, you can inspire others to join the movement and make their own minutes count. Invite others. Encourage your friends, family, and colleagues to take part in the initiative. The more people who join, the greater the collective impact. It's about creating a wave of positive change, my friend mentioned, 1 minute at a time. The beauty of 1 Minute to Peace is in its simplicity and accessibility. You don't need any special tools or resources, just a willingness to dedicate a small part of your day to something that benefits you and those around you. And the best part? It's a habit that's easy to maintain, but can lead to lasting change. In a world where time is often wasted on distractions, this initiative offers a way to reclaim it, to use it wisely, and to create a more peaceful, thoughtful life for yourself and those around you. Remember, I concluded during our discussion, it's not about making huge sacrifices, it's about making small, meaningful choices that add up over time. So why not start today? Take just 1 minute. Focus on something that brings you peace, that challenges your mind, or that fills you with inspiration. And then watch how that 1 minute can transform your day and eventually your life. Let's start a movement, 1 minute at a time. Let's show the world that even the smallest actions can lead to the greatest changes. And let's do it together with the understanding that every minute counts. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We look forward to seeing the incredible impact that 1 Minute to Peace will have on your life and the lives of those around you. Together, we can create a world that's more peaceful, more thoughtful, and more connected. 1 minute at a time.